Hello, myself P. Reddy from CSCA, and my roll number is 209518057, and my topic for ET TikTok topic for Sqat, that is software quality assurance and testing, is test cases selection for all uses, criterion based regression testing of composite service. So let's get started. So let's know what exactly what regression testing mean. What is regression testing, or what how it defines itself? So regression testing is the process of testing the modified parts of the code and the parts that might be get affected due to the modifications to ensure that no new errors have been introduced in the software after the modifications have been made. Regression means that return of something, and in the software field, and it refers to the return of a bug. When do regression testing? When to do regression testing? When new functionality is added to the system and code has been modified to absorb and integrate that functionality with the existing code. When some defect has been identified in the software and the code is debugged to fix it, when the code is modified to optimize its working. Process of regression testing. So how the regression testing works, how the process is done. So let's see. Firstly, whenever we make some changes to the source code for any reason, like adding new functionality, optimization, etc., then our program then our program and executor fails in the previously designed test suite for the obvious reasons. After the failure, the source code is debugged to identify the bugs in the program. After the identification of the bugs in the source code, appropriate modifications are made. Then appropriate test cases are selected. The source code, we can add new test cases if required in the end. In the end, regression testing is performed using the selected test cases. So identification of bugs, program failure, debugging, identification of bugs again, modification of the source code to make it bug free, and selecting and execution the test cases. Select the existing test cases covering the modified and affected parts of the code. Generate new test cases if required. Execute test cases to perform regression testing. Regression testing. Retest all regression test selection, prioritization of the test cases. So this is how the regression testing works. Retest all regression test selection, prioritizing of test cases. Types of regression testing. So there are seven types of regression testing that are selective regression testing, complete regression testing, unit regression testing, partial regression testing, automated regression testing, manual regression testing, smoke testing. So first, let's learn let's define what selective regression testing means. Testing only the parts of the software that are impacted by the recent changes is selective regression testing. Complete regression testing, rerunning all test cases to ensure that the entire system is with the bug free or functions are expected. Still, the functions are expected. So this is the complete regression testing. Unit regression testing, testing individual units of the code after changes are made to ensure they still work correctly. So this is unit regression testing. Next, partial regression testing, testing a subset of test cases that cover specific areas of the software affected by the changes. Next, automated test case regression testing, using automated tools to execute regression testing quickly and efficiently. Manual regression testing, manual rerunning test cases to verify software functionality after changes. Smoke testing, conducting basic tests to verify the critical functionalities are still operational after changes. Types of regression testing: corrective, progressive, selective, partial, and complete retest. Also, these are falling at the six uh, types of regression testing which are displaying now on the slide, that are corrective, progressive, selective, partial, complete, and retest all. Techniques for the selection of test cases for regression testing. Select all test cases. In this technique, all the test cases are selected from the already existing test suite. It is simply simplest and safest technique, but not very efficient. Select test cases randomly. In this technique, Test cases are selected randomly from the existing test suite, but it is only useful if all the test cases are equally good in their fault detection capability, while is very rare. Hence, it is not in the most of these cases. Select modification traversing test cases. In this technical technique, only those test cases are selected that cover and test the modified portions of the source code, and the paths are affected by these modifications. Select higher priority test cases. In this technique, priority codes are assigned to each test case of the test suite based upon the bug detection capability, customer requirements, etc. After assigning the priority codes, test cases with the highest priorities are selected for the process of regression testing. The test case with the highest priority has the highest rank. For example, a test case with priority code 2 is less important than a test case with priority code 1. So prioritization on the basis of technical requirements, on the basis of customer requirements. The prioritization of the bugs are divided into two that are on the basis of the technical requirements and the basis of the computer requirements, customer requirements, sorry. On the basis of the technical requirements, we have 5 priority codes. First one is the priority code 1 with the essential test cases, then the priority code 2 with important test cases, the priority code 3 execute if resources permits, priority code 4 not important test case, priority code 5 redundant test case. Sorry, redundant test case. Redundant test case or redundant test case. Next, on the basis of customer requirements, priority code 1 important for the customer, priority code 2 required to increase the customer satisfaction, priority code 3 helps to increase the market share of the product. Test case selection of rapid regression test. When selecting test cases of rapid regression testing, it's essential to focus on maximizing test coverage while minimizing execution time. Here is a step-by-step method for selecting test cases efficiently. Impact analysis and risk-based prioritization. Impact analysis: identify recent changes in the software under the test. Next, assess the impact of these changes on different modules or functionalities. Prioritize test cases based on the areas affected by the changes. Risk-based prioritization: evaluate the risks associated with each module or the feature. Next, prioritize test cases for modules with higher risk levels. Consider factors such as business criticality and potential impact on end users. Case classification. Classify test cases based on the relevance to the current changes. Categorize test cases as critical, higher priority, medium priority, and lower priority. Focus on executing critical, higher and higher priority test cases first. Coverage analysis. Analyze the test coverage of existing test suites. Identify gaps in the test coverage, especially in areas affected by the recent changes. Select the test cases to fill this coverage gaps, ensuring comprehensive test cases and a SUT of the SUT. Selective test case execution. Utilize a technique such as pairwise testing to reduce the number of test cases while maximizing coverage. Prior test case based on their ability to uncover the defect efficient. Consider the dependence between the test cases and execute them in an optimal sequence. Usage-based prioritization. Analyze the user statistics or user feedback to identify frequently used functionalities. Prioritize test cases for the higher traffic areas to ensure the stability of critical features. Automation. Automate the execute of regression test cases wherever possible. Prioritize test cases suitable for automation, especially those requiring frequent execution. Leverage automation of frameworks to accelerate the regression testing process and increase repeatability. Continuous monitoring and feedback. Continuously monitoring the effectiveness of selected test cases. Gather the feedback from testing cycles to refine the test case selection method. Adapt the selection criteria based on evolving requirements and changes in SU. Tools for regression testing. In regression testing, we generally select the test cases from the existing test suite itself, and hence we need not compute the expected output, and it can be easily automated due to the reason. Automating the process of regression testing will be very effectively and time saving. The most commonly used tools for regression testing are Selenium, WATIR, that is web application testing in Ruby, then QTP, Quick Type Professional, Quick Test Professional, RFT, a Rational Functional Tester, and WinRunner and Self Test. Advantages of regression testing. It ensures that no new bugs have been introduced after adding new functionalities to the system, as the most of the test cases used in regression testing are selected from the existing test suite, and we already know the expected outputs, hence it can be easily automated by the automated tools. It helps maintain the quality of the source code. And disadvantages of regression testing are it can be time and resource consuming if automated tools are not used. It requires even after very small changes in the code. So the conclusion. In the conclusion, regression is a critical aspect of software development that ensures the stability, reliability of software application after modification, updates, or bug fixes. By re-executing the selected test cases, it verifies that recent changes have been introduced, unintended defects, or alterations to existing functionality. Whether automated or manual regression testing plays a vital or the pivotal role in the maintaining software quality, detecting regressions, and safeguarding the integrity of the software throughout its life cycle. So we already learned the advantages of the regression testing and the disadvantages of the regression testing, and this is the conclusion for it. And so yeah, thank you. This is my topic for SQ80, that's quality. So Sqat, that is SQ80. It is the software quality assurance and testing. So yeah, thank you.